Hi guys, and thanks for clicking on the video. My name's Rupert Kingston, I'm Creative Director and Co-Founder here at Delilah. And I want to talk to you today about the 5 things that I see people getting wrong when they do their makeup on a daily basis. And the first thing I want to talk about is bronzing. And I want to talk about what we call direction of travel. This is what I normally see when I see people applying bronzer. They apply their brush into their compact and they sweep backwards. The problem with this is you are loading your bronzer at what we call the front of the face, or here at the front of the cheekbone. And that just gives you a kind of brown blob here in it. Really, it just kind of makes your bronzer look a little dirty, a little grubby. What we do as makeup artists is we work from the back of the face forwards. So you need to change your direction of travel. Dip into your bronzer and start at the back of the face, right onto the cheekbone, and try to just sweep down rather than sweeping backwards and forwards and loading too much product on here. That brings me on to my second tip, and that is using powder brushes. I often see people using the side of the brush or flattening the brush, or the big mistake I see people making is actually squishing the brush so much that it flattens on their face. You know, we work very hard to craft the tip of powder brushes so that they work properly for you. What you want to do is try and use the tip of that brush and use the tip of the brush for precision. So if that means you're doing a little sculpting underneath the cheekbone, or you're coming down the bridge of the nose, or as I was saying, across the face, try not to use the side of the brush, but try to use the tip. And this will layer your makeup very carefully onto your skin instead of overloading. While we're talking about powder, we should talk about loose powder. And I know we all want to look more glowy, more youthful, more radiant. We want that dewy, sort of moist finish to the skin. So we've all kind of stopped using translucent powders. But my tip is, choose where you want to glow. Really what you want is those nice kind of dewy looking illuminated cheekbones. What we definitely don't want is that super shiny forehead, or even that very shiny nose, or the dreaded sweaty top lip. But my top tip for you when you're using, and this could be loose powder or it could be pressed powder, is use a smaller brush. The big mistake I see women making all the time is using a great big brush with their powder and over powdering their faces. That's why it looks so flat, so matte, so chalky. That's why you don't like using loose powder or translucent powder. Sometimes I even use an eyeshadow brush and carefully powder where you need it. Using loose powder with a small brush will allow you to glow where you want to and mattify the areas that you don't want to shine. Tip number 4, applying your eyeshadow. So you really can't apply your eyeshadow with one eye open and one eye closed. It really just doesn't work. And when you open your eye, the makeup looks completely different. My tip to you would be, try to keep both eyes open when you're doing your eye makeup. So what that means is tilting your chin up and looking down into your mirror. And when you do that and raise your eyebrows, you give yourself a little bit of space to fit your brush in. And then as you're applying your eyeshadow, sit back, drop your chin, look in the mirror, and check and see how it looks. That is the best way of applying makeup. Certainly beats the kind of one eye closed, broken doll look. If you're going to use these darker, smokier shadows, keep them to the outside corners of the eye. You know, when I trained to be a makeup artist many years ago, I trained to do television and special effects. And if we wanted someone to look older, we would take a darker eyeshadow and we would place it on the inside corners of the eyes here. It can be very aging. So when you're using these smoky colors, just work on the outside corners using my chin up tip and push the color inwards. My last tip, and tip number 5, is about liquid illuminators. And you know that at Delilah, we love that lit from within glow. But it can look too shimmery, it can look too much, I understand that. So if you're nervous about that, when you're using Liquid Illuminator, which let's face it, can sometimes look a little bit like gold paint, it can be so reflective on the skin. Apply a little bit onto the back of your hand, apply onto your skin and apply your foundation on top. By wearing your Liquid Illuminator underneath your foundation or underneath your tinted moisturiser, that illumination will glow through. And if at the end, once you've applied your foundation over the top, you feel like you want some more illumination, you can literally take another dab and just blend it into the tops of the cheekbones on top of your foundation as well. Those are my 5 top tips. I've got an extra bonus tip for you, and we're going to call it the middle dab. When I watch women doing makeup, they dab into the product, they have no idea what's going to happen next, and dab it straight on here. And often it doesn't come out the way that they want it to. When you watch makeup artists, we always do a middle dab. We dab into the product and we will dab maybe onto the back of our hands. This means that we know what's going to happen when the brush touches the skin. What you don't want is to dab your brush into a product and think, I have no idea what's going to happen here, and put it straight on the skin. And when you're doing powders, bronzers, blushes, you can use that middle dab literally by taking the brush and doing a middle dab in the mirror. Do a middle dab here and then straight on the skin. Or if you want to, just onto the back of your hand. Add a middle dab. You will always know what's going to happen when the brush touches your skin. So that is my bonus tip. I hope that was useful for you. I've got so many more wonderful tips to share. Perhaps we'll do another one. In the meantime, thanks for clicking on the video. I'll see you on the next one.